Don't forget to go to LegalZoom.com today and get 15% off your last will through the end of August. Or get a living trust, and you'll receive a pour-over will absolutely free. LegalZoom is not a law firm, but its step-by-step process was created by a team of top attorneys and experts in technology to provide self-help services at your specific direction. Get an extra discount when you type LOVITZ. That's Lovitz in the referral box at checkout. LegalZoom.com.
You are listening to the Jon Lovitz Vodcast Network.
Hello, I'm Jon Lovitz, and welcome to Lovitz or Leavitz. And today, my guest is the wonderful Steve-O.
Thank you for having me, John.
You're welcome, Steve. By the way, what does the O stand for in Steve-O?
Stands for nothing, really.
It stands for nothing?
Stands for nothing.
Well, how'd you get that name?
My first time that I ever performed on stage in front of hundreds of people, I announced myself as Steve-O, the alcoholic gymnast. And I got drunk before people's eyes, shotgunning beer after beer after beer. And I guess that doesn't speak to how I initially got the name Steve-O from just sort of drunken chaos and keg parties and people screaming it, Steve-O. And I was thinking, do I really want it? Because I wanted to become famous and have a career. And I wasn't.
How old were you
then? And I'd say 20. Uh-huh. And then I was 21 when I was on doing this show as the alcoholic gymnast. And the people just loved seeing me just drink more and more beer. And when I shotgun, I came out to shotgun more beers, and they started chanting, Steve-O, Steve-O. And having been conflicted, wondering if I really wanted this goofy nickname, for a career, I thought maybe I'd switch back to Steve Glover. But when I heard them chanting, Steve-O, Steve-O, I thought, nobody's ever going to chant Steve. So I committed myself to it.
Were you a gymnast?
No, I was a self-taught gymnast. And I did terrible back handsprings and handstands. Got a little better after that, though. I learned how to do a really pretty good standing back flip. And then as soon as I learned how to do a good standing back flip, then I devised this method of filling my mouth with flammable liquid and dousing my arm with flammable liquid, lighting my arm on fire, and then going into the back flip and simultaneously breathing fire using my hand as a torch, and then fire breathing back flip.
Really?
And I don't know that I've ever heard of anody else actually.
Did you ever get burnt?
That. Yes, I did. I got burned quite a bit. There was the one time when
but you kept doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what makes you.
Right.
I got burnt once. I don't think I would have done it, but most people wouldn't. But I mean,
right.
That's a big risk.
I know, but there were just little subtle differences. When I got badly burned, I sprayed hairspray all over my hair, filled my mouth with alcohol, doused my arm. I had this other guy with a mouthful of alcohol, lit my head on fire. So this guy's going to use my head as a torch and blow this huge fireball off my head. I'm going to reach my hand into the fireball as it comes off my head and then perform my standing fire-breathing backflip. But the guy blew it right into my face, and I'm like, my whole head's on fire, my just shoulders up, just all engulfed in flames, and I'm thinking to myself, I better hurry up and do this fire-breathing backflip, And that's what I did, but it was all the chaos going on. I kind of came up short. I landed sort of on my knees, and I'm flailing around, and this is all happened at a backyard keg party, and I'm kind of...
Was anyone there with a fire extinguisher?
No? Nothing of the sort. I flailed around through this backyard keg party, and by the time I got it out, I'd burned all the skin off half my face. It was only second-degree burns, but I had to peel my face off the pillow every morning for 2 to 3 weeks. It was just pus coming out. Like,
Oh.
I was hospitalized overnight. And from that point, I was careful to only have people blow fireballs off my head when they're standing behind me, not to the side of me.
Oh. Because then just the back of your head.
Yeah, the
would
back
catch
of my
it.
head's got all that nice hair protecting it.
Yeah, you got. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But now, before that, I read that you went to clown school.
I was doing the actually my
How'd that? Yeah.
I still had the I was still peeling my face off the pillow in the mornings when I got the phone call to let me know that I was accepted into clown college. And I thought, oh.
And that's Barnum and Bailey.
Yeah, Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Clown College.
I went to a college at UC Irvine. But anyway, there was a guy in the drama department named Jeff Worth. And he was really funny, and he wanted to be a clown. And I think he went to that clown school. Does that
The name
sound
sounds
familiar?
familiar.
Jeff Worth?
It does.
Yeah, I haven't seen him since, but so what's that like, clown college? What do they teach you?
Well, like I had been going to the University of Miami. Right out of high school, I went there. I did pretty badly. Within 2 weeks of class starting, I was placed on final disciplinary probation, which is pretty hard to pull off. And
The first 2 weeks?
within 2 weeks of class starting, yeah, I was on final disciplinary probation.
What did you do then?
I just was. I was partying all night, boisterously, and
Yeah, but everybody does that in
I
college.
know, but my roommate,
have-
I think my roommate blew the whistle on me and got my room raided. Like they raided my room and they got all this pot and alcohol and they relocated me to some other dorm on final disciplinary probation. I didn't last long there, and
So you got kicked out of school?
I got kicked out of the dorms. I essentially failed out of classes and dropped out without withdrawing. So I did pretty badly.
Well, you didn't want to be there, it sounds like.
I didn't really want to be there. Well, I wanted to be there, but I just couldn't I couldn't bring myself to go to class. So I decided, the one thing that I really was passionate
You just
about.
like the social aspect of it.
Right.
Right.
So the one thing I was passionate about was skateboarding, making videos, doing stupid things with the video camera, and I decided I was going to become a stuntman. And I spent about 3 years kind of couch surfing, flailing around, videotaping stunts, but I wasn't really getting any traction for a career. And then I found out about Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College, and I thought to myself, man, if I could get into that, if I could graduate from Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Clown College, then people would take me more seriously with my stunts, which is great. Because I went to clown college looking to be taken seriously, more seriously.
So when you were at college, right, you're with all these kids that are 18, 19, 20.
Right.
So now you're in clown college.
Right.
So who are your classmates? Is it like there's the bearded lady?
No, it wasn't quite like
No.
that. And if I were to
No?
compare clown college to anything, I'd compare it more to boot camp because it all happened in just one summer. It was like
So it's a 3 month.
2.5 months. Yeah, 2.5 months. And
What do they
it was
say the
intensive,
first
man.
day?
It was
Like your first class.
The first day, what they did, they were all welcoming us, and it was in Sarasota, Florida, at the Sarasota Opera House. It's nice. We all came in, and the whole clown college staff welcomed us, and they had this sort of, you hear you guys made it, because it was a big deal getting in there.
You had to audition, right?
Right? Yeah, I had auditioned.
No, it's hard to get in there.
Yeah, statistically, I'm told it was harder to get into clown college than Harvard, and I was very proud.
What did you have to do for your audition?
At the audition, well, I hitchhiked from Albuquerque to Denver to audition, which was kind of a cool thing, because I was really passionate about getting into it, and it was at the Denver Center for the Performing Arts, and they had I'd say roughly 60 people in a gymnasium type room. They said, we're not important, we're just clowns, but this camera is the eyes and ears of someone who's very important, and we're not going to waste his time. So everybody line up against the wall, and one by one jump in front of the camera very quickly, say what your name is and why you want to be a clown. These assholes are jumping in front of the camera saying, I want a big pair of shoes, like whatever. And I'm just, thinking, man, like I want this so much, let me at it. And I jumped in front of the camera. I said, my name's Steve Glover, and I'm an aspiring stuntman from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I just hitchhiked here from Albuquerque because I didn't want to spend the rest of my life wondering if I'd have missed the biggest opportunity ever. And then I did a perfect standing backflip, and I got right out of there. And the audition continued. They had different exercises like, okay, now there's an imaginary line down the middle of your body. The right side of your body is a wild baboon throwing a temper tantrum, and the other side of your body is a lazy cow grazing in a field. Now show us what that looks like. Go. And of course, that's an impossible thing to perform.
Yeah.
But what they were looking for was the least inhibited people of the bunch. You know, they wanted to weed out the inhibited people.
Okay.
And so I parked myself right in front of that camera, of the eyes and ears of the important guy, and I just gave it hell the whole time. And they actually reached out to me and offered me a scholarship. They said, which would mean,
Wow.
I mean,
Good for
it was
you.
free to get in. When I found out about it initially, my sister was taking.
It's free to get in, but they offered you a scholarship?
Well, right, because what that meant was that they waived my materials fee, because they build you this amazing costume, if called your agent suit. But that was how I found out about it. My sister was taking a dump at work and reading a book of trivia on the pot, and the book, the question that she read, it said, "What's the only college with no tuition?" And then it said Clown College. If you can get in, it's free. And so she thought.
And she called you from the toilet?
She didn't call me from the toilet. She left a note on the kitchen. I came home, and there was a note on the kitchen table. It said, "Ringling Brothers, the Clown College, tuition apparently free if you can get in."
But is she your older sister? Or?
Older sister, yeah.
Yeah, but that's cool because it's like, it's a loving thing, actually. Not that she did it on the toilet, but that, she's like, knows you and loves you and wants you to be happy and knows what you like to do. Because normally you go like, your parents, I don't know, your parents would say like, clown college. Were they like, clown college?
Well, my dad was very, very anti the whole idea. My dad was very...
Yeah, because when you're a performer, I'm an actor and...
Right.
And my dad was a doctor, and then but then he was like for it but against it. It was like it was weird, but I can imagine you're not going to clown school, but then it's like your sister going like, "Come on, Steve."
Yeah, my sister was great.
Yeah,
she he's
got to be himself. And
I called up and I said I left a message. It said for audition schedule, leave your. I left it showed up in the mail. I was living in Albuquerque with my sister, and when this audition schedule showed up, I looked for Albuquerque on it, and I saw it was below the line, the cutoff line for there's 97, and then the line, and then below that was for 98. And I saw Albuquerque down there. I said, "Oh, that's not until for another year." And I kind of put it down. And I went and I got smoked some pot with my buddies, and came home. I walked in, and my sister said, "So how are you getting to Denver by Monday?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "You can't miss out on this." Because it was the perfect thing for me, and my only thinking was that it would further my goal of becoming a stuntman.
Right, all right. Well, when we come back, we'll be talking to Steve more about Clown College, which is very interesting, and the other transitions in his life, which have been quite amazing. I'm Jon Lovitz, and we'll be right back with Lovitz or Leavitz. Jon Lovitz here. It's time to put laughter back into your life. Check out the Jon Lovitz Comedy Club, located in the heart of Universal Studios City Walk. For great food, great drinks, and great comedians, go to thejonlovitzcomedyclub.com. Hello, I'm Jon Lovitz, and it's summer. Don't be stuck in your office all day. Get started with a free 30-day trial of eVoice. eVoice gives you a toll-free or local number, so you can take business calls from anywhere and always sound like you're at the office. Also, eVoice has great features like dial by name directory, and it even transcribes your voicemails so you can read them at your convenience. Go to evoice.com and enter promo code LOVITZ for your 30-day free trial. That's evoice.com, promo code LOVITZ, that's spelled LOVITZ. Or go to the Jon Lovitz Vodcast Network.com and click the eVoice banner.
This is Leavitz or Leavitz.
is Jon Lovitz, and welcome back to Lovitz and Leavitz. And today, my very special guest is the wonderful Steve-O, or is it pronounced Steve-O?
Doesn't matter. I've never been particular.
Is it ever
Steve-O.
pronounced Steve-O?
Steve-O. I guess.
Steve-O. Why
Yeah,
do you
I
say
don't know.
so?
Or
And the dash is silent?
Steve-O. I mean, that works too, I guess.
Is it Steve-O?
The dash is silent.
The
yeah.
dash is silent?
Right.
So we were talking about when you're in clown school.
That's right.
So what's some of the stuff you learned? I just find it fascinating.
Clown college was...
Clown college, yeah. What's some of the stuff that you learned?
We would, the first day, they had this welcoming, you made it, here you are. And they gave us our makeup kits, right? These plastic sort of, makeup kits. And they instructed us to just go put it on. They didn't show us no
Instruction?
No instruction. They just said, just put it on. And it was just kind of funny because none of us really knew about it. And that grease paint a little bit goes an awful long way. And so we tried it and they were just laughing. They thought it was so funny. And we got done putting on our makeup and then they took pictures of us. You looked ridiculous. Your first try.
But it is clown school.
Right, and they never gave us any instruction. They just day after day, we just kept, and we worked it out. We figured it out ourselves. So, and that meant that what we wound up with was genuinely ours. Nobody had any. It was just us, and we did it by ourselves.
But was it like you got to figure out what do you want your clown face to be?
But there are different styles of clowns. There's the white face clown, who's like the more straight, serious character.
Yeah, that's the only one I know.
There's the Auguste clown, which is the more goofy. Like they described it to us like cartoon
What's
characters.
Auguste?
Auguste.
Yeah, what's that?
That's the more goofy kind. Like say like they would describe it like cartoon characters. You have one complement the other. Where like Tom and Jerry. Tom is like the goofy kind of stupid, bumbling. He's the Auguste character, while Jerry's the white face, the more serious one.
Like the
one
straight man in the comic, like
Right.
Abbott and Costello.
Right, and they always had that with cartoons. That was how they explained it to us, and so I naturally kind of went for the more goofy Auguste character,
Right.
the more bumbling sort of idiot kind of a clown, and that worked well for me.
Did you end up performing in the circus?
Not the Ringling Circus, no. We would train 14 hours every day, like 8 a.m. we were in the complex
gosh.
and we had classes, acrobatics, dance, skills, improvisation, circus history, we were all these classes from, one break, a little break for lunch, but classes would go from 8 a.m. until like 6 p.m. And then from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. was a sort of do your own thing, write gags, because we'd put up a show every Saturday night.
Oh,
And so it was, we would be writing gags, we'd be practicing, do whatever kind of you
So
want.
were you way more into this than when you were in the regular college?
I
Like, were you
was,
like,
yeah.
You showed up every day at 8. You were.
I was never late once. And after we'd get done at 10 p.m., then I'd start drinking and stuff, like,
Right.
I was,
But you were really into it. You were.
I was super
very
into it.
disciplined with it.
I was very disciplined, and
Because you were passionate about it.
I was.
You've got to find your passion. I don't care what it is.
that's exactly right. That's always been my motto. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It doesn't matter what you want. It just matters how bad you want it.
Yes.
Right. And by the end, as graduation neared, because there were thousands of applicants. Some, over 2,000 applicants. Only 33 clowns got in. All 33 clowns graduated, but only 10 clowns got contracts with the circus. So it would have been a great reality TV show. But by the time
Maybe
it was
I'll
all
do
done,
it and steal the idea.
Yeah.
From Steve-O.
by the time it was all said and done,
You should do it.
I wanted to be in the circus. I thought I was just gonna try and
And so which
I fell in
circus
love
did
with
you
the
end
idea.
up joining?
I didn't get a contract at the end of clown college, and I was heartbroken. I remember having dreams where like dreams at night where I was just I woke up with this feeling of rejection. I would dream about being in the circus and wake up and, oh yeah, I didn't make it, and I'd feel real sad and depressed. And I came home. I brought that $2,000 clown costume that I didn't have to pay for because I was on scholarship, and then I just hung it up in my closet in Albuquerque, and I proceeded to sell pot to pay my rent. It was pretty depressing. And ultimately, I'm going to say about a year and a half after graduating from clown college, I got a job on Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines as a professional circus clown. And
On Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, that's right.
As a professional clown?
Well, yeah,
That's a good job.
It was a great job. I got it was technically called an interactive performer. I'd be in clown makeup twice a week, and then the rest of the time we'd do shows in the theater every night, kind of warm up the crowd, doing stuff in the theater. And when I wasn't doing that, I'd be teaching people how to juggle on the beach when the ship docked.
Did you learn how to juggle in clown school?
I taught myself how to juggle in my first job I ever had in a toy store. I got fired from every job.
I had no idea he was a juggler.
Yeah, not a very good juggler. But
did you juggle your balls?
I did. Yeah.
How many balls can you juggle?
I can do 4 pretty well.
4?
Yeah, 4.
Oh, that's good.
It's all right.
That's hard.
It's all right.
I can barely do 3 is hard, but
Right.
4 is really hard.
Right, but yeah, the clown college, the cruise ship gig was great because I had my own little room. When you're on the Ringling Circus, you're jammed into like a 6 foot by 3 foot little closet kind of thing, on the train. And at the time they were paying like $235 a week, I think. It was a pretty bad situation. I had this nice cabin on the cruise ship. And I was making like $625 a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
And do they encourage you to sleep with the passengers, or
They
say
don't. That's the cardinal no-no.
They say don't.
I only humped one passenger. Actually, I didn't even hump her. I got got a smoker. Yeah.
You smoked her.
No, she gave me a smoker.
I know you did. I was kidding. You're also a clown.
Right, and but no, it was a good deal. I got fired from that one though. Not fired. They didn't renew my contract.
Oh.
Because I wasn't getting along with
What? Now I want to ask you something. If you don't want to talk about this, you don't have to.
It's fine.
But you're doing pot, you're drinking, and all this.
Right.
And you've publicly said about being bipolar. Do you think you were self-medicating yourself for that?
I don't know that.
Or you'd be up and down, and then you're like, I feel down, so I'm gonna drink, or I feel, or where was it? No connection.
I think that the bipolar, if that was a real diagnosis. I mean, I was diagnosed as bipolar, but I think that was more of a secondary thing related to the drugs and alcohol, because I found that after after about 6 months of sobriety, I don't think I was really bipolar anymore. And I think that anybody who is
then it would work.
Anybody who
Because you would be. You don't have to drink into that stuff to be bipolar.
Right. Anybody who piled that many substances,
my partner.
chemicals into their body, I think would probably be bipolar too. But yeah, whatever it is, whatever the reason, I was certainly.
Well, everyone has done it at some point, but I mean, you're sober now, so obviously you had to stop at one point. But how did you go from
being a professional clown
to the Jackass movies?
Well, like I said, I was my passion was videotaping stunts, and I always wanted to be a stuntman. And even with all the clown college stuff going on, I never stopped filming my outrageous stunts. And
well, I don't know if people know there's a Stuntman's Association, or there's a few of them in the movies. Are you in any of those?
Nah, I wasn't.
You never got into.
I made some calls to try and figure it out, but they're not a very welcoming bunch. That Stuntman Society.
But they'd have to train you to
I think they're kind of like
fights and.
Yeah, they're more of a union that I think is interested in keeping everybody out than letting them in. But either way, I wasn't. See, I had a weird kind of a thing about like, I was an attention whore, and I wanted to be a stuntman, but I didn't want to be anonymous. So, so I was, and I was kind of modeling.
And you thought stapling your scrotum to your thigh would get you attention?
Yeah. You bet.
Did you ever miss your scrotum? You're known for that. Did you ever miss it?
I didn't.
And staple one of your balls?
Nah.
Never?
I never stapled my balls, but
Because that would be my fear if I was to ever even consider it, which I wouldn't. I mean, it's just a step beyond. I mean, who does that?
Well,
I think just you.
Yeah, that's true. The first time I stapled my scrotum to my leg, I knew that it was going to be memorable. I really, I knew that this was going to be a big deal. But I didn't want
And
to.
then your sister called you from the toilet and said, "Hey, you got to staple your scrotum to your thigh."
No.
She didn't have that idea.
She didn't have that one. I came up with that one on my own. And I knew that would be a big deal. And I didn't want it to just be dark and disturbing. I wanted it to be like hilarious too. So I thought, how can I make this how can I kind of lighten the load a little bit, make it funny? And I thought, I've got it. I'll staple my scrotum.
Got it.
I'll staple my scrotum.
You and Thomas Edison, a light bulb.
Right. I'll staple it to both of my legs, and I'll call it the butterfly. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I'll tell you, man, it didn't look anything like a butterfly. It looked maybe a little bit like an elephant, maybe, but not a butterfly.
Well, didn't it hurt?
It actually didn't look like an elephant either.
Well, when you stapled which side did you staple first, the right or the left?
I think that.
You'd think he'd remember that, wouldn't you? Wouldn't that be something you wouldn't forget?
Like I think. I don't know. I know that I prefer stapling the left.
You prefer?
Right. Well, I guess it's natural because I'm right-handed.
Well, after you stapled the left one, what made you think, gee, I've got to do the right? I mean, most people, if they went that far, they'd staple the left side and just say,
I know.
what the fuck did I just do to myself?
Right.
Now pull it out
Right.
and get a Band-Aid.
I know.
But you continued.
I know. I
Didn't it
did.
hurt?
It didn't feel good. It didn't feel good.
Do you have a high threshold for pain?
No, I have an unreasonable hunger for attention. Is the thing.
I'm Jon Lovitz. We're talking to Steve-O. We'll be right back with Steve-O on Lovitz or Leavitz. Hi, Jon Lovitz here. It's time to put laughter back into your life. Check out the Jon Lovitz Comedy Club, located in the heart of Universal Studios City Walk, Los Angeles, not Orlando. For tickets, go to thejonlovitzcomedyclub.com.
You are listening to the Jon Lovitz Vodcast Network.
Hi, I'm Jon Lovitz. Welcome back to Lovitz or Leavitz. I'm here with my guest, Steve-O.
There we were during the break talking about all this great stuff. And I mentioned how much I've been enjoying watching America's Got Talent Season 8 on Hulu Plus. Unbelievable.
Well, that's weird because we're sponsored by Hulu Plus. And Hulu Plus lets people like Steve-O binge, but healthily, healthy-wise. Binge on thousands of hit shows, like anytime, anywhere. And, Steve-O, if you like it, you could watch America's Got Talent on Hulu Plus on your TV or your PC or your smartphone.
Right through.
Or do you have a tablet?
My
if you did, you could
Apple
watch it.
TV. Apple TV is a great device, man. It's a great.
By the way, I don't know if you know this. If you can support this podcast that I'm doing now, and you can get an extended free trial.
That's
of
right.
Hulu Plus.
7 days.
Yeah, I think longer. But you go to huluplus.com/Jon. That's huluplus.com/Jon, Jon.
Yeah.
Or click the Hulu Plus banner on the Jon Lovitz Vodcast Network.com.
Right.
Also, let me ask you this. You have a lot of things going on with your stand-up and your movies and everything. So people come up to you, I'm sure they go, oh, let's hang out, give me your number. And you're like, I don't know who you are. Like, you know, if it's a hot girl, you're like, yeah, here. But what if it's some weird...
Are you asking her, like, how do I handle that?
Yeah, you don't want to give them your home phone.
Right, I just...
You don't want to give them your cell phone. Well, there's this thing, which our show is also sponsored by. It's called eVoice, and you can get your own toll-free or local number and a professional greeting, right? So you can have all your calls routed and all your voicemails transcribed and emailed to you. And it's less than $10 a month.
And why would you want to give that to some douche who you don't want to have your number?
Well, maybe you got to give them the number, but you don't want to give them your cell phone. So you go, here, call this number. It's an 800 number. And then, you know, who cares? And then you'd get an email saying, the douche called, he said this. You're like, I don't want to call him back. Or maybe you do. I don't know.
That sounds
But
like...
it's $10 a month. But Steve-O, if you go to evoice.com and you can enter the promo code Lovitz, which is my last name, you get a 30-day free trial. It's free for 30 days at evoice.com. Promo code Lovitz, Lovitz. Or go to the Jon Lovitz Vodcast Network.com and click the eVoice banner. You know, I'd love to talk to you some more, Steve-O, but we have another sponsor.
Who's that?
Finally, our last sponsor is LegalZoom.com. If you go to LegalZoom.com today, you get 15% off your last will through the end of August.
Do you have a will?
No, do you?
I don't.
You don't? With all the stunts you do, you're setting yourself on fire, and you don't have a will?
I should have a will.
What if you were stapling your scrotum to your leg and you hit a vein? What if you did it?
That's happened to me before.
It's happened, and then the blood gushes.
My nutsack looked like a gosh dang darn cranberry.
It did?
Yeah.
Well, that's when you need a
Full
will.
blood.
What if it blew up and you passed out and died?
Like a big old cranberry, too.
Well, this is LegalZoom.com.
Yeah,
You can get a will. You can get 50% off your last will through the end of August. Or you can get a living trust. You should check, that's better. And you'll receive a pour-over will absolutely free. You know what a pour-over will is? I don't, but you can get one free. And LegalZoom, by the way, LegalZoom, it's not a law firm. It's a step-by-step process that was created by a team of top attorneys and experts in technology.
Kind of like H&R Block is not an accountant.
Yeah, and you can provide yourself help services at your specific direction. But LegalZoom, you know, Robert Shapiro is a great lawyer. He helped create it, so it's created by real lawyers. But anyway, you get an extra discount when you type my last name, Lovitz, that's Lovitz, in the referral box at checkout. That's LegalZoom.com. You don't have a will, Steve.
We should both have wills.
You're at risk all the time. I should have one. You can get a living trust, but if God forbid something happens to you, you can leave your money.
I was thinking
to your
about that
sister,
just the other
otherwise
day.
they're gonna fight over it.
And I was thinking about that just the other day.
Let me ask you this: Jackass is. I remember watching the movie, the first one I saw, and I was like, I think it would probably had to have been about you. I don't know, what if you put a firecracker in your butt or something?
Right, we tied it to, it was a
I'm
bottle
almost
rocket.
positive it was you, and I remember thinking, what a jackass. I go, Jesus, what a jack. But I could not stop laughing. I was dying laughing.
We put the bottle rocket in my butt. I put the bottle rocket in my butt, and we had tied it to my buddy Chris Pontius to his penis. So we shot the bottle rocket right out of my butt after tying it to his penis. And boy, that looked funny.
And then what did he do?
His wiener went, you know.
Did it pull? Did he get a groin pull?
It wasn't a groin pull. It wasn't that powerful. But boy, it was really, I'm with you. It was funny.
When you told your parents, hey, I'm going to stick a bottle rocket up my ass, are you proud of me now? What did they say?
I didn't actually tell, but it was a very famous story. I remember calling up because we had the idea for putting the toy car, the little Matchbox car,
was that
up your butt. You know?
Oh, that was.
It was initially going to be me, but I called my dad. I said, Dad, we're really getting crazy. You know, I'm going to put this car up my butt.
Now we're getting crazy. Because he goes, well, the bottle rocket lining that wasn't crazy, but this.
Right, but when my dad heard me say that I was going to put a car up my butt, the way that he said, "Oh no," like I really felt the disappointment in his voice. I just couldn't do that to him, you know? And
yeah.
So I backed out of that stunt. And
did you call him and say, I'm not doing it?
I think I did, yeah.
Do you remember what he said? I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, he was relieved. Yeah, and remember, after the premiere.
Yeah, because it's funny to everybody, but to him, you're not just some guy in a movie. You're his son.
Right, and there was this whole thing, and it was everybody knew that I was. But my dad, after the movie premiered, my dad came to the premiere. He went up to the director of the movie as we all ushered out of the theater. He went up to the director of the movie and he said, "Hey, Jeff. I think you might have misunderstood." He said, "I was never worried about Steve's physical health with the car stunt. I'm just extremely homophobic, and I didn't want him to do it." He said, "I'm extremely homophobic. Didn't want my son putting anything up his butt like that,
What about the bottle rocket and it's
I know
attached
the
to a
bottle-
guy's dick? What could be more homosexual? Come on.
I didn't tell Dad about that one, but it wasn't like it's a ball rocket sort of. Yeah, it was in my butt a little bit, but the car was really. I mean, that was like.
Who did the stunt with the miniature alligator? Was that Johnny Knoxville?
Yeah, you were on the nipple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Okay.
That was just this teeny little thing going.
Yeah.
That killed me. And then, was there ever a stunt? Was there any stunt that they wanted you to do, and you said, "I don't want to do that. I won't do it." Like you went, "That's too far, even for me." Ever?
There was like I remember it came up. We got duct taped to a mechanical bull. And I've just figured at a certain point you got to fall off that thing. If you're duct taped to it, you can really get paralyzed. So I didn't want to. I generally avoid.
Did you say no?
Yeah, I said no. I don't want to get.
So you avoid? Yeah, you avoid what?
I avoid.
I can't imagine you saying no to anything.
Well,
but you do.
I generally try to avoid, major risks of paralysis and death. Those are my things.
That's a good idea.
Other than that, there was one thing, and I joke about this all the time, but it's true.
I couldn't do any of the things you did.
I was asked to.
Not one.
I was asked to do one of those dating shows, like Rock of Love. You ever, where Bret Michaels from Poison,
Right.
He had all the girls in the house, and they're all trying to be his girlfriend, and one by one, he throws them out, until there's just one. And
They asked you to do that?
yeah, I was asked to do it, to do that format of show, that dating show. And
you said no?
I said no. Because I didn't want to I wasn't going to let 30 women tell the whole world how fast I come.
Is this in your stand-up act?
That's an old joke.
Oh, it shouldn't. So in other words, you have your boundaries. That's what's interesting about you is you're a very nice guy, but your boundaries, they're just completely different than, I would say anybody. Your boundaries like, yes, you can stick a rocket up my ass and tie it to my friend's dick. That's fine. But if you want me to date a bunch of beautiful women and I get to pick which one I will keep, no.
Right. I know.
And that makes me go.
I did turn down, and as funny as it is, and yeah, it is a joke that I've told during my stand-up quite a bit. It's exactly my rationale. That's how I do with my stand-up. My approach is to really be pretty truthful.
Well, I remember I started doing stand-up about 10 years ago, and I was doing it at the Laugh Factory. And I think maybe it was 4 years ago. I saw
7 years.
Was it
ago.
7 years ago I saw you?
7 years ago.
Get on stage doing stand-up.
Right.
But it was kind of a. I don't think you were sober then, so it was it was like a train wreck. It was like
I don't know
watching
if
a
it
car
was
wreck.
as bad as that. I thought it was.
I thought it was. Too.
Yeah.
Well, you were just.
It's on
You didn't know what
YouTube.
you'd never done it. You didn't
I had
know what
never
you were
done
doing,
it.
And you were sweating, and it was kind of like. I actually felt bad for you. I'm like, come on, man, this guy. I said, this is.
There were some jokes in there that worked pretty well, but overall, yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
It was more. I think it was more tense than like funny.
I don't know. I got some laughs.
Well, all I'm saying is talking to you now. It's like
Right.
night and day.
Right. Well,
Like we couldn't have had this conversation
Right.
then.
That's true.
And I'm very happy for you that
Well,
you.
thank you,
Do you
man.
feel a million times
Right,
better?
for
You're
sure.
you're probably like you.
Right.
You're like a million. It's like another person.
Right. And I was saying when we were during the break.
Well, you were kind of like, I don't know what to say, nutty, and now you're like 100%
Yeah. Well, thank you.
sane.
And I was saying during the break how we bumped into each other at a birthday party for Tom Arnold.
Right.
And this was when I was just newly sober, and you were very kind to me and encouraging, and that meant a lot.
Oh, thanks. Well, that's how I mean this. I mean, I'm glad to see,
Yeah.
well, you're a nice guy, and it's hard to, because, somebody gets like you were, and at some point everyone's going to shoot, they're going to at some point they're going to kill themselves, and they like you. So, I know someone else, I don't want to say who, but this person is their performer, and they have the same thing, but they're not a nice person. So it's kind of like, they're just, whereas you are genuinely nice and good-hearted, so that's what's hard to see.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. It's hard for me to believe that she only started doing stand-up 10 years ago.
Well, I used to do Woody Allen and Lenny Bruce's routines in my dorm in college, and then after college, the Comedy Store, they were teaching where the House of Blues is. They had a building called the Comedy Store Annex, and they had they were teaching a free workshop on a Saturday to be a stand-up. And the guy teaching it said they weren't hiring stand-ups for sitcoms, and I believed him. I was like 22, but I didn't realize that they weren't hiring him. But I was like you, right at you go right to the. Right after you graduate, maybe clown college. I was like that. I didn't know anything.
Right.
I had the training, but I didn't know about show business or how it worked. I didn't have a clue, and so I believed him. So I thought, well, I'll skip that step.
Right.
And then I started doing it 10 years ago because my agent manager, I called them up and I said, hey, I'm not broke, but I'm going to run out of money in 5 years. Can you get me work? Because the work had slowed way down, and they both said, why don't you sell your house? And one had just. That was their answer. These are the guys supposed to get me work saying, why don't you sell your house? And one had moved into a mansion right above the street where I lived. One was building a mansion in Malibu. I go, that's your answer? Sell my house? You're building a mansion? You just moved into one. So I thought, well, these guys have lost all faith in me. They're not going to be any help. So I thought, you know what? I have a better idea. In my head, I thought, I have a better idea. I'm going to learn how to be a stand-up and fire both of them. And that's what I did. I was so angry, and these guys are... we're your friends, and I thought they were my friends, but
yeah,
they're like, no. Big lesson. I'm Jon Lovitz. We'll be right back with Steve-O on Lovitz or Leavitz right after this. I'm sure you've tried Hulu.com, but I want to tell you about Hulu Plus. Hulu Plus lets you watch thousands of hit shows anytime, anywhere. You can stream it on your TV or on the go with your smartphone or tablet. Why stand in line or ride a train and just stare at your feet? You could be watching your favorite shows on Hulu Plus. Hulu Plus, it is a great way to binge watch your favorite shows. Hulu Plus has tons of episodes from great comedies like SNL, Community, Modern Family, South Park, Family Guy, and thousands of other shows. Hulu Plus is only $7.99 a month. That's $7.99 a month for all the shows and movies you can watch. Catch up on current shows, binge on an old favorite, or catch a great movie. You can do it all on Hulu Plus. And right now, you can try Hulu Plus for a couple of weeks free on me when you go to huluplus.com/John. Please make sure you use Hulu Plus/John, that's Jon, so you get an extended free trial, and so they know that we sent you. It helps us keep the lights on, and it gives you a better deal. Go to huluplus.com/John now, or click the Hulu Plus banner on Jon Lovitz Vodcast Network.com. Hi, Jon Lovitz here. It's time to put laughter back into your life. Check out the Jon Lovitz Comedy Club, located in the heart of Universal Studios City Walk, Los Angeles, not Orlando. For tickets, go to the JonLovitzComedyClub.com.
You are listening to the Jon Lovitz Vodcast Network.
Hello, Steve-O, please. I'm Jon Lovitz. Welcome back to the Lovitz or Leavitz Vodcast with Steve-O. By the way, before we go on, I know you're doing stand-up, so I want everybody to come to your shows, and they can get the information on your website.
Yeah.
What is your website?
My website is steveo.com with no hyphen, just steveo.com.
STEVEO.com. Steveo.com.
Yep.
Well, that's smart. That's easy to remember.
It's pretty easy to remember, yeah.
How is your stand-up going anyway?
It's good, man. I've been actually working on a bunch of new material lately because, like, I've been on tour for most of the last 3 straight years, and you know, I've really there's just a large portion of my show that's the same. You know, does it drive you crazy when you're doing the same stuff?
No, yeah. And then
You feel
after a while, you start getting bored. And
You feel like you lose. I feel like I lose part of my soul. You know, like my integrity. Especially like if I go back to a place that I've already been to, and I come back and I do the same stuff. It just it drives me nuts.
Well, the great thing about stand-up though is you can change it whenever you want.
Right.
You can do whatever you want. But I know, like you get an act and it's really working, and then you get bored, but then you're worried. Well, what if I change it? Then they don't laugh. Does it throw it?
Right.
But I find you can just slowly replace stuff. Some stuff just becomes out of date and you can't do it anymore.
Right.
Or some jokes, it's interesting. Like they become like out of date and then like 3 years later, the same person's back in the news. All of a sudden, you go, oh, I can do those jokes again, you know.
Right.
And you can pick them up later. But it's endlessly creative. I mean, do you find that?
No, I do. But what it is that you work out an act that really gets huge laughs and it works great. And then, you know, that's sort of your comfort zone. You know, like Tom Green says, he says, you know, you've got your quiver full of arrows that you know you can just reach for and boing, it'll hit the mark.
Right.
And then it's difficult when you've got that to do new stuff that's there. You're thinking, oh, is that going to really work? You know, it's so much easier to stick with what works. And finally, I reached a point recently where it's like, I just can't. I just got to do it. And so I made myself a promise. I said, okay, I'm gonna go to the Laugh Factory and set a time and a date. I'm going there. I'm gonna do 10 minutes of new material, even if I have to bomb terribly. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna do it. And you know, I just buckled down and I put together material and then I did it. If I didn't do it that way, I don't know if I ever would have got off my ass and did it. But,
well, that's what you got to do.
Right. So I just did that recently, and you know.
So how did the news material go?
It was pretty good. You know, there was this this bit, you know, that because I had this thing with my niece. My sister's got 2 kids now, and you know, I talk about, you know, my niece, and it's a little bit funny. I you know, say I'm an uncle, and I'm a really good uncle, but I'm very involved in my niece's life. Only really at Christmas, because it's the only time I ever see her. You know, she lives in Florida. But, you know, I follow her on Instagram, which I think makes me a pretty good uncle. Recently, she posted this thing. It said something or other, and then, if you don't repost this, your worst week starts now.
She said that to you?
Well, that's what this thing, you know, I'm following her. I see that on there. I'm like, man, what's up with this?
How old is she?
This is 11. This is 5th grade black magic voodoo crap. You're gonna get my worst week. Where I come from, the worst week is pretty fucking bad, you know?
And you believed her.
Right. Oh, I'm not superstitious, but if you tell me something bad's gonna happen, I will believe you. You know? But so anyway, I unfollowed her, and, you know.
Do you take risks in your act? You unfollowed her?
I unfollowed my niece. Right. But then I felt bad. Because I felt bad because it's important to her that I follow her, you know. So instead, I called up my sister and I told on her, you know. So, I got a problem with your daughter. You know, she's threatening me. She's threatening me with stuff. Because it's like those emails, you know, where it says if you don't forward this email to at least 10 people.
Oh yeah,
God, I hate that.
Yeah.
Because I fucking believe it, you know. So what I do is when I get the email, it says you got to forward this to at least 10 people. I hit reply all because generally I'm one of at least 10 people receiving the email. So I hit reply all, and I got 10. I'm just forwarding this now. I'm forwarding this to the same 10 people that you did, so that I don't have to worry about your threats.
Oh, that's smart.
You know, because I satisfied the obligation, and here are your 10 people. Now let's all be clear, and this is what, you know, like what I want to make a new little punchline. So I sent it back to the 10 people. the same 10 people you did, and I want us all to be clear that,
Right.
like sort of insert herpes joke there.
In your stand-up act, do you ever talk about... do you ever talk about...
That's how I've been doing that joke too. I just say, so I send the same 10 people you did, and then insert herpes joke here. And there's a big laugh from that.
Well, the best thing about stand-up is you get to be funny the way you're funny.
Right.
It's very satisfying. Do you ever talk about? Because last time I saw you before the show was at the Charlie Sheen roast we
Right.
did, and I was standing right there, and you said to Mike Tyson, "Right, hold your arm up,
Right.
and I'm gonna run into it." It was at the
Right.
end after it was over, and I was right there, and I saw you run into it, and you're like, "Oh." And you go, I broke my nose.
I did. I broke it drastically.
And then I remember blood came out. I'm like, oh my God. And the funniest was William Shatner was standing right there too, and he goes, Steve-O, what did you? Is that what he said? What the fuck?
Right.
And now I know Mike, but I thought, yeah, his arm didn't budge. Was it like
Right,
him
that was the
running
idea.
into a steel
That was the
pole?
idea.
I remember he goes, all right, I'll do it. He goes, but don't sue. You won't sue me.
Right. He might
just held his arm.
He
and
might have
didn't
gave it a
move.
little nudge, a little nudge. But
No, he didn't. I watched because he didn't want to be sued. He just held it like
Right.
this. He didn't budge, and
Right.
he ran. He just.
I
like
broke
this.
my nose drastically, and
But you dove into his fist.
right. Now, this is the most fascinating story, and I've told you many times.
Tell that.
But it wasn't the first time that I had broke my nose, because Bam Margera, one of the guys on Jackass, broke it, during the filming of Jackass 3D. Snuck up behind me, and I didn't do anything about it.
And punched you?
Well, yeah, it was part of a bit on camera. He'd come
Oh.
up and throw water and then punch you with the boxing glove, and he broke my nose. I didn't do anything about it, for like 2 months. Finally after 2 months, because it healed messed up, and after 2 months I said, you know what, screw this. I'm going to make the movie pay. I'm going to go get my nose fixed. I'm going to make the movie pay for it. So I went to this nose doctor, and he looked at me and said, he says, you let it heal this way. He said, it's already healed. He says, if you want me to fix your nose, I would have to re-break it with a chisel and then set it straight. And I heard that, and I said to the doctor, oh no, I said, I'm good. But then I go to this Charlie Sheen roast, and I dive into Mike Tyson's fist, and I break my nose drastically, and I'm standing there on the stage. It was right at the end of the show, and the blood's pouring
Yeah, I was
out
standing right there watching
the
it.
blood's pouring out of the show. Everybody's up milling about because the show's over now, and the blood's coming out. This guy comes out of the audience up to the stage, and he says, Steve-O, your nose needs to be set right now, And I know he's telling the truth because I remember what the doctor said. So I put my trust. He says, I'm a kung fu instructor, this guy says.
This was at the roast?
At the roast. The guy came out of the audience up to the stage. He says, I'm a kung fu instructor. I've set 20 broken noses, he says. He says, so I sit down, and this guy puts a thumb on either side, and he lines it up, and he moves it back. It hurt like hell, and kind of clicked it all back into place, and he lined it all up, and it healed that way. On my website, I put
It looks totally straight.
it's totally fucking straight now. I'm telling you that this doctor couldn't, I don't think, for this re-break my nose with a chisel, could have done as good of a job
But this
as
guy, it was like over here, and he just pushed it back.
Oh my God, it was way over there. And that, between Mike Tyson and the Kung Fu guy, I think I got a better job than the nose doctor ever could have done. So unbelievable.
Steve-O, thank you for coming
Thank
on the
you,
show.
John.
Great stories. Oh, we'll have to have you back, because I'm sure I know there's a lot more. It was great having you. I'm Jon Lovitz. Thank you for watching Lovitz or Leavitz here at the beautiful beach in Hawaii.
Here's these pictures. That's why this is after Bam broke my nose, right? And then you can see it healed that way.
Oh.
And then here's the morning after Mike Tyson.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then see, and then how that healed.
Very handsome.
Kung Fu guy.
We're still filming. Now that the show is over, don't forget to sign up for your free trial of Hulu Plus. Hulu Plus lets you binge on thousands of hit shows, anytime, anywhere, on your TV, PC, smartphone, or tablet. Support this podcast and get an extended free trial of Hulu Plus when you go to huluplus.com/John. That's huluplus.com/JON. Or click the Hulu Plus banner on Jon Lovitz Vodcast Network.com. Hello, I'm Jon Lovitz, and it's summer. Don't be stuck in your office all day. Get started with a free 30-day trial of eVoice. eVoice gives you a toll-free or local number, so you can take business calls from anywhere and always sound like you're at the office. Also, eVoice has great features like dial by name directory, and it even transcribes your voicemails so you can read them at your convenience. So now that the show is over, go to evoice.com and enter promo code Lovitz for your 30-day free trial. That's evoice.com, promo code Lovitz, that's spelled Lovitz. Or go to the Jon Lovitz Vodcast Network.com and click the eVoice banner. Also, don't forget to go to LegalZoom.com today and get 15% off your last will through the end of August. Or get a living trust, and you'll receive a pour-over will absolutely free. LegalZoom is not a law firm, but its step-by-step process was created by a team of top attorneys and experts in technology to provide self-help services at your specific direction. Get an extra discount when you type Lovitz, that's Lovitz, in the referral box at checkout. LegalZoom.com.